Be making bases.
What's good, YouTube? Be Making Bases back again with another dope video. If you're new to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe and go ahead and give me a like on the video if you like the content. But without further ado, let's jump right in. Now, today is actually going to be a very simple video. I just wanted to talk about the reason why you should always, first of all, export all your tracks to audio. Okay, when it comes to mixing your music, and then second, why you should always bus or group your tracks to different buses and bust them out to auxiliary tracks. So let me talk about what I mean. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the aspect of bouncing down or exporting your beat as audio files. So I have this beat here, right? Technically, I could have went ahead and just used the MIDI files, right? When I'm mixing my beat, because simply I have only about 8 tracks that's really fully the beat. You know, this 9th track right here is just me adding my beat tag. So it's not really a whole lot of stuff going on in the mix technically. But what reason why you want to always export your files as audio is because audio is easier to process for your computer. So usually when it comes to mixing, if you're going to give it to engineers and different things of that nature, they always use audio for that reason. This ends up being a cleaner mix. Okay. Now, the second tip we wanted to talk about is the grouping it out to be, put to auxiliary tracks. Now, first of all, let's talk about how do you do that. Okay. For instance, if I grab all these tracks right here, you're going to see that this is all the drums for the most part, right? I have this 808, clap, hat, open, hi-hat, cymbals, toms, okay? All drum instruments. Now, if I wanted to group these tracks together and send them to an auxiliary track by busing them over, if you look right here, we have output selected, and what I did is instead of going to output, stereo output, I went down to bus and I found an available bus, okay? And what I did is group those together by sending them there. So all my drums went to this auxiliary channel and right here, and I named it drums. Vice versa with my melody tracks, I did that as well. Now, let's talk about why you would want to do that. Now, there's a couple of different reasons. As you can see here, the drums track right here is turned down as well as the melody track, right? So when I was mixing this beat, these joints were started off at nominal gain, so it's 0, okay? And instead of me having to come over here, like when the tracks are actually grouped off and bust over to an auxiliary channel, instead of having me to come over here and nudge each of these down, you know what I'm saying, or up just to adjust the volume of the drums, or vice versa to adjust the volume of the melody, I could do all of that here. Okay, so that makes it a whole lot easier when it comes to mixing your music. Like, okay, the drums are hitting a little bit too hard, or hey, the melody is not hitting a little bit, as much as it should. So, instead of having to come over here and nudge it there, you could just nudge it here with one channel. Makes it a whole lot easier. Also, like, say if I wanted to add an effect that would genuinely affect all of these tracks, right? So, for instance, let's talk about like an EQ, not an EQ, like a reverb, right? So, like, let's say if I wanted to add a reverb to this melody, instead of coming over here and doing the reverb on each channel, I can save some, processing power for my computer, and I can just put it on this one channel right here, right? Since I know that both of these tracks are going to have that in there, okay? So those are pretty much the tips when it comes to mixing. I will let you go ahead and check out this beat that I'm working on. It is pretty fire. So let's just check that out, and I'm gonna show you, like, I felt like this was hitting a little bit too hard, so that's why I brought this down. Let's check it out.
Geil.
So, like, just to give you a little sample of the beat, that's what the beat sounded like. As you can see here, it's clipping just a little bit with the drum track. So, like, for instance, if I really wanted to, I could come over here and I could put, like, Smack Attack on just the drum bus. And I can come over here and push clip right there, and it will stop that from clipping. So that's also something that I want to talk about is this tip that I actually found and stumbled upon, at least when it comes to Logic. I know that like maybe in some other DAWs it might not be an issue, but with Logic, for whatever reason, the metering sometimes could be a little off. And what I mean by that is like, you'll be raising the level of your individual tracks and the metering will say that it's peaking, but when you listen to it, you know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily sounding like it's distorting or anything like that. So, one way to get around that is by going ahead and putting this Smack Attack on there. Now, again, you're not upping anything. Like, you're not changing any of the knobs. All you're doing is going to this guard right here and turning on clip. Let's check that out now. So those are just a couple tips that I wanted to give you when it comes to mixing. Please make sure that you give me a thumbs up if you liked the video, and also go ahead and make sure you're subscribed if you're new to my channel. And also, I do have a full mixing course available on my website. Just go to beatmakingbasics.com if you want more on mixing or other topics. You know what I'm saying? I do have courses that you can download and sound kits. So make sure you go there, check those things out as well, man. Thank you so much for watching. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and end the video, and I'll see you in the next one.